The little girl's hands wouldn't stop shaking, and everyone in Chase Premium Banking noticed. Not because she was scared. Not because she was cold in the aggressively air-conditioned lobby that smelled like leather and old money. Her hands shook because she was holding on to her grandmother's final words so tightly that her 10-year-old knuckles had turned pale, and what those words meant was about to shatter the Tuesday morning routines of some very comfortable, very confident people who had never been told no in their entire lives. Maya Richardson's worn sneakers made no sound as she crossed the lobby. She had practiced this walk in her bedroom mirror for 3 nights straight, the way her grandmother Eleanor had taught her. Head up, shoulders back, eyes forward. Don't give them anything to use against you before you're ready. The denim jacket she wore had a small coffee stain near the collar from breakfast, the kind of detail that would later haunt certain people in that room when they replayed this moment over and over in their nightmares. The VIP services area sat elevated by 3 shallow steps, a deliberate design choice that forced regular customers to literally look up at the wealthy. Maya climbed those steps slowly, clutching a manila envelope that had her grandmother's handwriting on it. The cursive was shaky, written in those final hospital days when Eleanor's hands could barely hold a pen, but she had insisted on addressing it herself. Some things, baby girl, you have to do with your own hands, even when it hurts. Derek Ashford noticed her the way you notice a fly at an expensive restaurant. Annoying, out of place, something that shouldn't be there. He didn't stop typing on his rose gold laptop. Didn't look up from behind his designer frames that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Just kept his fingers moving across the keyboard with that deliberate loudness that successful men use to announce their importance. His wife Vanessa sat beside him, her perfume so strong it made Maya's nose itch. The scent was called something French and expensive, the kind that comes in bottles smaller than your thumb and costs $300. Maya stopped directly in front of Derek's designated counter space. Waited, counted to 5 in her head like her grandmother taught her. Let them see you. Let them make their choice about who they think you are. When Derek finally looked up, his expression did something small but unmistakable. His left eyebrow raised exactly 1/4 of an inch. His mouth tightened just slightly at the corners. It was the face of someone who had just been inconvenienced by something beneath their notice, and Maya filed that expression away in her memory like evidence. I need to access my account, she said. Her voice came out steadier than she felt, which was good because her heart was hammering so hard she could feel it in her throat. The typing stopped. The silence that followed had weight to it, the kind of quiet that happens right before something breaks. Around them, conversations dimmed. Heads turned. A woman in a cream-colored suit paused mid-sip of her cappuccino. An elderly man folded his newspaper slowly, sensing entertainment. Derek removed his glasses with theatrical precision, cleaning them with a cloth from his breast pocket even though they weren't dirty. It was a power move, a way of making someone wait, making them small. Vanessa saw the child first, really saw her. And something in her face lit up the way people's faces light up when they spot a chance to feel superior without consequences. Oh, honey, she said, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness that made Maya think of the sugar substitutes her grandmother said tasted like chemicals and lies. Did you hear that, Derek? She thinks she has an account here. She touched her husband's arm, making sure her engagement ring caught the light. For carats. Flawless. She had told Maya's grandmother about that ring 3 weeks ago at a charity event, never knowing who she was talking to. Just another old black woman serving refreshments who should feel grateful to hear about diamonds. Derek leaned back in his chair, that leather-on-leather sound that expensive furniture makes. Sweetheart, this is the premium division, he said, gesturing vaguely at the space around them as if the exclusivity was self-evident. Perhaps you're looking for the community branch? Several blocks away, near the discount grocery. Soft laughter rippled through the lobby like wind through dead leaves. Maya had heard laughter like that before. At school, when kids made fun of her thrift store backpack. At the mall, when security followed her mother through stores. That laughter wasn't about humor. It was about power and the people who had it reminding people who didn't. But Maya didn't cry, didn't flinch, didn't give them anything. Instead, she thought about her grandmother in that hospital bed, tubes in her arms, cancer eating her from the inside out, still teaching. still preparing Maya for this exact moment. They're gonna try to make you small, baby. Let them. Small things are underestimated, and underestimated things can move in ways people never see coming. Mr. Caldwell, the branch supervisor, approached with a smile that never reached his eyes. He had that middle management energy, the anxiety of someone caught between wealthy clients and corporate protocols, terrified of offending either. Now, young lady, he began, his tone, suggesting he was addressing someone who couldn't possibly understand concepts like business hours or appropriate attire. The premium section requires adult accompaniment. Where are your parents? My grandmother sent me, Maya said, placing the manila envelope on the counter with a gentleness that somehow made the gesture more powerful. Eleanor Richardson. She told me to arrive at exactly 10:47 a.m. at this specific counter and speak with whoever was handling VIP services. The precision of the time made Caldwell blink. It was such a specific detail, the kind that suggested planning rather than confusion. Derek couldn't resist. He closed his laptop completely now, sensing easy entertainment. Eleanor Richardson? He repeated the name like he was tasting something curious. Is she perhaps employed in maintenance here? Because I must say, coaching your grandchildren to impersonate clients is creative parenting. Vanessa covered her mouth with her manicured hand, but her eyes sparkled with malice. Derek, be charitable, she said, her voice suggesting she was enjoying every second. The child clearly doesn't understand the environment she's entered. This isn't a place for make-believe. But something happened to Maya's posture in that moment. Something so subtle that only someone watching very carefully would catch it. Her spine straightened, not dramatically, just half an inch. Her chin lifted, just a fraction. And for the first time since entering the bank, the corners of her mouth moved into something that wasn't quite a smile but wasn't quite not a smile either. It was the expression of someone who had just confirmed something they already suspected. A hypothesis proven. A trap sprung. Eleanor Richardson, Maya repeated, her voice clear and deliberate. That's my grandmother's full legal name. And she mentioned that certain individuals in this establishment would remember it very, very well. The effect was immediate but contained. Mr. Caldwell's hand, which had been reaching for his keyboard, stopped mid-air. Hung there for 2 full seconds like a glitch in reality. His eyes did something strange, a rapid blinking that suggested his brain was accessing files it hadn't opened in years, trying to make impossible connections. Derek raised an eyebrow, not yet understanding but sensing a shift in atmospheric pressure the way animals sense earthquakes before they hit. Caldwell, Derek called out, his voice carrying an edge of impatience sharpened by growing confusion. Type that name into your system and let's resolve this situation. I have a conference call with venture capital partners in 12 minutes. But while everyone waited with anticipatory amusement, preparing for the inevitable moment when the child would be gently escorted out and their regular programming would resume, none of them noticed what Maya was doing. Her eyes moved from face to face, cataloging expressions like a camera taking sequential photographs. Derek's condescending smile, Vanessa's cruel amusement, Caldwell's nervous uncertainty, the other client's casual indifference to her humiliation. She was memorizing them, all of them, for what came next. Mr. Caldwell's fingers finally touched the keyboard with the reluctance of someone opening a door they suspected led somewhere they didn't want to go. He typed the name, waited. The screen flickered. He typed again, faster now, his breath coming shorter. And then his face did something extraordinary. It cycled through confusion, disbelief, recognition, and something that looked disturbingly like terror, all in the span of 3 seconds. The color didn't just drain from his face. It evacuated, left him looking like a mannequin, waxy and artificial. What? Vanessa leaned forward, her entertainment morphing into curiosity tinged with the first drops of uncertainty. What's wrong? Caldwell tried to close the screen. His hands fumbled. He clicked away from Windows, typed random commands, did everything except answer the question hanging in the air like smoke after a gunshot. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed hard, once, twice, 3 times. Maya remained perfectly still, not smug, not anxious, Just patient in a way that 10-year-olds shouldn't be capable of. Like she was counting down to something she knew was coming because she had built the countdown herself. And if this journey of prejudice and impossible revelations has captured your attention, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because what unfolds next in this bank will prove exactly why underestimating someone based on appearance can be the most catastrophic error of judgment a person can make in their lifetime. Mr. Caldwell's fingers trembled as he tried to minimize windows, but Derek caught it. Saw the flash of numbers on the screen before Caldwell could hide them. Numbers with too many zeros. Numbers that didn't make sense next to the image of this child in her thrift store clothes. "What's the delay, Caldwell?" Derek demanded, his authority voice coming out now, the one he used in board meetings to remind everyone who was actually in charge. A basic account lookup shouldn't require this theatrical hesitation unless you're manufacturing excuses. Vanessa laughed, but it came out thinner than before, like something was deflating. "Darling, perhaps you should call your grandmother yourself," she said to Maya, her maternal concern as authentic as her eyelashes. "She's probably frantic, wondering where you've wandered." Maya remained motionless, but something in her eyes shifted. A memory surfacing, sharp and clear. Her grandmother Eleanor, for days before she died. In that hospital room that smelled like antiseptic and flowers that arrived too late. The machines beeping their steady rhythm, marking time like a metronome counting down to an ending everyone knew was coming. "Baby girl," Eleanor had said, her voice weak but her eyes fierce. "When you walk into that bank, people will try to convince you that you're nothing. Let them perform their show. Let them reveal exactly who they are when they think nobody important is watching. Because the person who laughs last isn't the person who laughs loudest. It's the person who was patient enough to wait for the right moment. My grandmother passed away last week," Maya said simply, her voice maintaining that eerie calm that was starting to unsettle even the most confident people in the room. "But she taught me that some people only learn important lessons through consequences they never saw coming." The comment created a pocket of uncomfortable silence. Derek cleared his throat, momentarily disturbed by the realization that he'd been mocking an orphan, but his arrogance bulldozed over any trace of human decency within seconds. "Well, I'm sorry for your loss," he said without any sincerity coloring the words. "But that doesn't change the fact that you're in an inappropriate location. This facility is designed for individuals who genuinely understand sophisticated financial instruments, not for," he gestured vaguely toward her, "childhood fantasies." That's when Maya opened her manila envelope with movements so deliberate they felt ceremonial. Like opening something sacred. She extracted a sealed letter, the paper yellowed with age, the edges soft from careful handling. In the center, written in Eleanor's shaky cursive, were words that made Caldwell's breath catch when he saw them. "TOB opened exclusively in the presence of the Senior Executive Managing Chase Premium Banking, Madison Avenue location." The wax seal was dark red, old-fashioned, the kind of thing nobody used anymore except lawyers and people who understood the weight of formality. Caldwell actually gulped, an audible swallow that made several nearby clients turn their heads. "What's that supposed to be?" Derek asked, reaching out to snatch the envelope from Maya's hands with the casual entitlement of someone who believed everything was available for his examination and judgment. Maya pulled back with reflexes that surprised everyone, including herself. Fast, certain, like she'd practiced the movement, elegant in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Derek's laptop. And when she walked, even wealthy clients instinctively adjusted their posture like students when the principal enters the room. Derek found himself straightening his tie, hated himself for it, couldn't stop. "Mr. Caldwell," Angela said, her voice slicing through the tension with surgical precision. "I received an automated alert from our security protocols regarding a high-priority account inquiry. I trust all proper procedures are being meticulously followed." The relief on Caldwell's face was almost comedic. Finally, someone with real power to navigate this impossible situation. But what he didn't anticipate was Maya's reaction. The girl smiled. Not the careful, calculated expression she'd been wearing. A real smile. The kind that crinkles the corners of your eyes and shows teeth and means genuine happiness. "Angela," she said, using a first name that made everyone in earshot freeze. Angela Morrison stopped mid-stride like she'd hit an invisible wall, looked at the child carefully, and slowly, like sunrise breaking over a dark landscape, recognition bloomed across her face. Her professional composure cracked. Not shattered, just cracked enough to let emotion through. "Maya Richardson," Angela whispered, her voice thick with something between grief and wonder. "Dear God, you look exactly like Eleanor when she was young." Derek and Vanessa exchanged glances that communicated entire conversations. Confusion, concern, the first cold fingers of worry touching the base of their spines. How did this child know the regional executive director by her first name? And why was Angela looking at her like she was someone important? "Your grandmother told me you were coming," Angela continued, her voice softening in a way her employees had never heard. "She said when the moment arrived, I would know exactly what to do, that I would understand." Maya extended the yellowed envelope with both hands, a gesture that felt formal, respectful. Angela took it with trembling fingers, and everyone watching noticed that tremble. This woman who never showed weakness, whose composure was legendary, was shaking. "She said you would understand these words better than anyone else in this city," Maya said quietly. As Angela broke the wax seal and began reading, Derek made one final attempt to regain control of a situation that was spiraling into territories his privileged mind couldn't map. "Angela, surely you're not going to entertain this performance," he protested. "This child is obviously confused, fabricating stories for attention." Angela raised one hand without looking up from the letter. The gesture was casual, almost lazy, but it silenced Derek as effectively as a gunshot. She continued reading, her expression transforming with each line. Professional curiosity became surprise. Surprise became shock. Shock became something that looked remarkably like vindication. "Caldwell," she said, still not lifting her eyes from the paper, "I need you to prepare the executive conference suite immediately. Call our legal department. Right now." "The executive suite?" Caldwell's voice cracked. "For her?" Angela finally looked up, and her eyes swept across every face present before settling on Derek and Vanessa with an intensity that made them both physically recoil. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, her voice carrying that particular kind of icy formality that precedes catastrophe. "I strongly recommend you carefully reconsider any additional commentary. You have just committed the most spectacular error in judgment of your entire lives." Derek tried to laugh. The sound came out wrong, brittle, like glass breaking underwater. "Angela, with respect, you're being dramatic. Simply a child with an overactive imagination." That's when Maya spoke again, and her voice was so quiet that people had to lean in to hear it, which made what she said land even harder. "Mr. Ashford, have you ever heard of Richardson Estates?" The question hung in the air like a bomb with the pin pulled, everyone waiting for the explosion, not knowing it had already detonated. Derek blinked. Of course he knew Richardson Estates. Everyone in commercial real estate knew Richardson Estates. They owned half the commercial properties in the Northeast Corridor. Their investments moved hundreds of millions annually. Their developments had reshaped entire neighborhoods. Their name was spoken in boardrooms with reverence and fear in equal measure. But nobody knew who actually owned it. The corporate structure was a maze of holding companies and legal entities that made the actual ownership impossible to trace. "And what does a corporation like that have to do with you?" he asked, his voice carrying less certainty now, like standing on ice that was starting to crack beneath him. Maya smiled again, and this time there was something almost predatory in that expression, something ancient and knowing that absolutely should not exist on the face of a 10-year-old child. "Everything," she said simply, letting the word float there like a grenade. "Because Mr. Ashford, the woman you spent the last 25 minutes insulting and humiliating wasn't just my grandmother. Eleanor Richardson was the founder and sole proprietor of everything the Richardson name represents in this metropolitan area." The silence that followed was so complete, so absolute, that the distant sound of street traffic 13 floors below became audible. Derek felt every drop of blood drain from his face, pooling somewhere around his $1,000 shoes. Vanessa dropped her Hermes handbag, and when it hit the floor, The sound echoed like a gunshot in a cathedral. Caldwell clutched his chest like he was having genuine cardiac trouble, his breath coming in short gasps. Every cruel laugh, every prejudiced assumption, every racist comment from the past 25 minutes crystallized in their minds as evidence of their own catastrophic stupidity. Permanent documentation of exactly who they were when they thought there would be no consequences. But anyone watching Maya carefully would notice she showed zero surprise at their reactions. No satisfaction, no gloating, just the calm of someone following a script they had rehearsed so many times they could perform it in their sleep. Every beat planned with precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker weep with envy. She had known this would happen, had counted on it, had built her entire strategy around their predictable prejudice. Angela Morrison guided Maya toward the executive conference suite with a gentle hand on her shoulder, leaving behind a completely shattered Derek and a Vanessa who was frantically whispering into her phone, her fingers shaking so badly she could barely dial, desperately trying to extract any information about Richardson Estates and their sudden connection to the child they had just publicly destroyed. Caldwell followed behind them like a zombie, his face still pale, his brain struggling to process the fact that he had almost physically removed the heiress to one of the largest real estate empires in the region. Inside the soundproof conference suite, Angela closed the door with a soft click that somehow felt final, like sealing a tomb. "Maya, sweetheart," she said, her professional mask dropping completely now. "Your grandmother prepared me for this moment for 8 months. She was meticulous, obsessive. She understood that when you arrived, it wouldn't simply be about accessing account information." The girl settled into the leather executive chair, her feet dangling several inches above the floor, but her eyes remained alert and calculating. "Grandmother taught me that sometimes people need to confront truth in a format they'll never forget," Maya said, extracting a small digital recording device from her jacket pocket. "She also taught me that the best weapon against prejudice isn't anger. It's evidence." Angela smiled with a mixture of pride and something close to awe. "Eleanor raised you exceptionally well. But there's more you need to know." She opened a confidential file on her computer. "Your grandmother wasn't just the owner of Richardson Estates. She was also a silent minority shareholder in numerous other corporations throughout the city, including," Angela paused, letting the moment breathe, "Ashford Consulting Group." Maya's eyes widened with genuine surprise. It was the first crack in her composure. "So Mr. Ashford has been working for my family for years without knowing it?" "Precisely," Angela confirmed, pulling up documents. "And with the modifications to the will we filed last week following Eleanor's passing, you now control 7% of voting shares. Enough to demand audits, question management decisions, in specific circumstances, influence dramatic changes in leadership." Outside the conference room, Derek paced like a caged animal, his perfectly styled hair now disheveled from running his hands through it repeatedly. "Vanessa, you don't understand," he muttered, his voice cracking. "If Richardson Estates decides to pursue legal action, if they terminate our contracts," his consulting firm had spent 18 months building that relationship. 43% of their annual revenue came from Richardson contracts. Without them, bankruptcy was inevitable within 3 months. "Calm down," Vanessa tried to reassure him, but her own hands were shaking, her voice thin with panic. "She's just a child. Surely reasonable people will understand it was a misunderstanding." Derek stopped pacing, turned to face his wife. "Misunderstanding? I compared her grandmother to cleaning staff. I publicly humiliated a black child in front of 40 witnesses." His voice dropped to a whisper. "My God, if this reaches social media, if this goes viral, we're finished. Not just financially, socially, professionally, everything we've built." Meanwhile, inside the conference room, Angela opened a physical folder, the old-fashioned kind with string ties. "Your grandmother documented everything," she explained to Maya. "For decades of discrimination she witnessed or experienced at this bank. Every racist comment, every instance of preferential treatment denied, every humiliation disguised as standard procedure. The documentation is extensive, dated, and completely irrefutable." Maya nodded gravely. "She showed me some of it. Taught me how to use my phone to record without drawing attention. She discreetly displayed her smartphone, like I did today with everything that happened outside. Angela's smile widened. But there's one more thing Eleanor wanted you to know. She pulled out another document. Your grandmother made a video to be played for you after this meeting. She recorded it 3 days before she died, when she could barely speak. But she had things she needed to say to you. For the first time, Maya's eyes filled with tears. She blinked them back rapidly, but Angela saw. Outside, Derek had managed to control his visible panic and decided his best strategy was charm combined with financial incentives. I'm going to apologize, he told Vanessa. Offer a substantial donation. Maybe suggest we name a scholarship after her grandmother. He straightened his tie, trying to resurrect some dignity. Kids are impressionable. The right approach will fix this. But when Derek knocked and entered the conference room with his most practiced smile, he encountered a scene his privileged brain hadn't prepared him to process. Maya sat at the head of the table, Angela at her right hand. Stacks of legal documents spread between them like evidence at trial. Behind them, on a massive screen, was a paused video showing Eleanor Richardson in a hospital bed, her eyes fierce despite her failing body. She didn't look like a lost child being comforted. She looked like a CEO conducting a hostile takeover. Mr. Ashford, Maya said with icy politeness, I'm pleased you decided to join us. Ms. Morrison was just explaining my position as a shareholder in your firm. Derek felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. That sensation of freefall. Shareholder? His voice came out higher than normal, almost breaking. 7% of common stock, Angela confirmed. Sufficient to demand comprehensive audits, challenge management decisions, and under specific circumstances, influence dramatic changes in leadership structure. The remaining blood drained from Derek's face. 7% didn't sound like much, but he understood corporate structure. In a firm with dispersed ownership, a strategically positioned 7% could generate catastrophic chaos. I'd like to apologize for the earlier misunderstanding, he began, his voice carrying none of its usual confidence. Misunderstanding? Maya interrupted, her calm more terrifying than screaming would have been. Mr. Ashford, you compared my deceased grandmother to maintenance staff. You suggested I was lost and confused. You participated in public mockery of my presence. She paused, letting each word land like a hammer. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That was racism, pure and documented. Derek opened and closed his mouth repeatedly, all his negotiation experience, all his carefully cultivated business skills evaporating when confronted with the moral clarity of a 10-year-old who wouldn't accept empty gestures. The conference room door opened, and a man in an immaculate navy suit entered carrying a leather briefcase. Apologies for the delay, he said, addressing Maya directly. I'm Nathan Pierce, Chief Legal Counsel for Richardson Estates. I came as quickly as possible. Derek watched in horror as final pieces clicked into place. This wasn't spontaneous. Maya hadn't just appeared for an innocent inquiry. She had orchestrated everything with military precision, using her own appearance as bait to expose the prejudice she knew she would encounter. And he had fallen into the trap perfectly, providing all the evidence necessary for his own destruction. Nathan opened his briefcase methodically, extracting documents and spreading them across the table like a dealer laying out cards. Mr. Ashford, would you like to review your exact statements from today? I have complete transcripts, courtesy of Ms. Richardson's recording. That's illegal, Derek stammered. You can't record without consent. Angela smiled coldly. This is a public commercial facility. No reasonable expectation of privacy. And considering your statements constitute documented racial discrimination, we have the legal obligation to preserve this evidence. Nathan consulted his transcript. Let's examine your words. Is she perhaps employed in maintenance here? Then, coaching your grandchildren to impersonate clients is creative parenting. And this one, he looked up, is particularly interesting. This facility is designed for individuals who genuinely understand sophisticated financial instruments, not for childhood fantasies. Each quote made Derek physically shrink. Vanessa, who had been silent, finally spoke with a trembling voice. We didn't know who she was. Maya turned to face her directly. Mrs. Ashford, you're correct. You didn't know me, but you knew I was a 10-year-old child. That should have been sufficient reason to treat me with basic human dignity. Nathan slid a photograph across the table. A screenshot from Vanessa's Instagram from 3 weeks prior. In the image, Vanessa appeared at a charity event with a caption, "Absolutely inspired learning about Richardson Estates community initiatives today." The photo had been taken at the company's headquarters, logo clearly visible in the background. Derek examined the photo with dawning horror. "Vanessa, you knew about Richardson Estates. I didn't make the connection," she whispered, the excuse pathetic even to her own ears. Nathan pulled out more documentation. Email correspondence between Mr. Ashford and Richardson Estates spanning 18 months. Consulting contracts representing 43% of your company's total annual revenue. He let that statistic hang in the air. "Mr. Ashford, explain how you can claim ignorance about a company responsible for nearly half your revenue stream." That's when reality crashed into Derek with full force. He hadn't insulted a random child. He had systematically humiliated the heir to the company that kept his business alive. Every payment he'd received for 18 months had come indirectly from a family he had just attacked with recorded racist commentary. "Maya," Angela said gently, "would you like to share your decision regarding the Ashford consulting contracts?" The girl nodded. "Mr. Ashford, after reviewing all existing contracts with my legal advisors, I've decided to exercise the termination clause for material breach included in all agreements." Derek's heart stopped. Material breach? Nathan consulted documents. Racial discrimination documented by a company representative during business interactions. Clause 18.7 specifies that discriminatory behavior constitutes fundamental breach, resulting in immediate termination and forfeiture of all outstanding payments totaling $2.7 million. "This will destroy me," Derek whispered, hands trembling. Without Richardson contracts, his firm couldn't meet payroll, couldn't service bank loans. Bankruptcy within 90 days. "You should have considered consequences before deciding my skin color determined my value." Maya replied simply, "No cruelty, just cold logic." Vanessa burst into tears, mascara streaking. "Please, she's just a child. Reasonable adults can resolve this without destroying lives." Angela smiled without warmth. "More civilized than how you treated this just a child for 25 minutes? Maya rose from her chair, her small stature contrasting with her authority. "Mr. Ashford, Mrs. Ashford, you've taught me an invaluable lesson today. You've shown me exactly the kind of people who exist, those who evaluate worth based on skin color or clothing." She walked to the windows overlooking the city. "But you've also given me something more valuable than money. Absolute proof that my grandmother was right. Racism isn't always obvious. Sometimes it dresses in expensive suits and speaks politely, but it's still racism." Derek attempted one last desperate strategy. "Maya, I can change. I can learn. Please give me another chance." The girl turned slowly. "Mr. Ashford, you've had 10 years to learn children deserve respect. Decades to understand people shouldn't be judged by skin color. How many more chances do you need to become a decent human being?" Silence, broken only by Derek's phone ringing incessantly. Contract terminations already circulating. He didn't answer, each ring representing another piece of his life crumbling. Nathan closed his briefcase with a final definitive click. "Today's documentation will be filed permanently. Any retaliation will result in additional legal action, including potential criminal charges." As Maya prepared to leave, she paused at the door, turning one final time. Not for gloating, for a closing lesson that would echo forever. "You wanted to teach me my place," she said with wisdom transcending her age. "Mission accomplished. My place is exactly where my grandmother promised it would be. At the top. Building a better world for children who will walk into places like this and be judged not by skin color, but by character." The door closed with a soft click, leaving two people who finally understood they had witnessed not just their own destruction, but the emergence of a force for justice they could never control. But what neither Derek nor Vanessa knew was that this public humiliation was only the first movement in a symphony of consequences Maya and Eleanor had orchestrated over years of careful planning. A lesson about the true cost of prejudice that would reverberate far beyond those walls, touching lives and changing perspectives in ways they couldn't begin to imagine. Support our channel. It's free. Handshake red heart. Thumbs up like the video. White heavy check mark, subscribe to the channel.